This right here is a Simpson Strong-tie 6x6 concealed post base. It's an easy way, as you can see in the picture, it's an easy way to tie a 6x6 post down to the ground and not have any funky metal brackets hanging up around the side, you know, the typical galvanized brackets you see. This makes a little bit cleaner look. You do have to cut a slit in your post and drill 3 holes, but you can always cap those up later after you've got it all in and kind of conceal it with some wood glue and some wood shavings. Something I'll show you guys later if you don't know how. But what this comes with is the bracket itself. 3 of these dowel pins that go through. You have to drill your holes in your post and these get tapped through. And it's also got this, which covers the base so you don't see the big bolts. Now I'm going to have to go back because I made my bolts plenty long. After I get this bolted down, I'll have to go back and cut off the rest of the bolt that's sticking up. Otherwise this black plate here won't fit over. But that's the cleanest way I could find to attach a 6x6 post to my floor and not have it look kind of janky. So I've got 3 of these that I had to drill out or drill into the concrete down the center of my slab. Those are going to hold up 6x6s that go straight to this center beam that's going to help hold up my, well, whole house. The floor joists are going to sit on top of that, and then more 6x6s go up to the ridge beam, which the rafters get nailed to. So really clean look for attaching a beam out in the middle of nowhere where you don't want some funky bracket like I was talking about, some galvanized bracket coming up and getting nailed into it. I think this is pretty clean. So the way I've done my center posts is with a piece of all thread. You drill it out deep as you can. You fill a hole probably about 1/3, what I was told, 1/3 of the way full of epoxy, and you stuff your all thread down in there, and the epoxy kind of comes up as you're pushing your bolt in. The epoxy comes up around it and it sits in there solid as a rock. That's the way my county and my engineer want me to do it. Other places, I'm sure you can use these regular little expansion bolts. Drill a hole out to the right size, tap them down into the hammer. When you start to tighten the nut up on the top, it slides up and this little collar here locks it into place. Man, all the dust. This little collar here locks it into place and it won't come out. So I've got 4 holes I have to drill in the walls where I had to cut those bolts off. One landed in a door jamb by about 2 inches, and I think 3 of them were in the walls that landed right underneath a stud where a stud needs to go. So I had to cut them off. Not a big deal. I got a long drill bit, and I think it's a 5/8 bolt. Drill that hole in, bury that drill bit as deep as you can, put epoxy in it, stuff a piece of all thread in it, let it set up real good, and you can tighten your bolt up. No big deal. A couple things on the windows back here. I forgot to put the cripples in underneath that bottom piece that holds the window up. So I've got to cut a couple pieces of 2x6 to put in there. I'll get those done, the bolts done, then I'm going to start working on the inside walls here. I don't know how much the inside walls I'll get done, but I've got to get the inside walls done before I put the floor joists up. Mainly because I have to be able to pick those inside walls up and fit them over top of all this plumbing. I'll get as much done as I can. We'll see where we end up at the end of the day. Hang out for a minute. Probably helps if you tighten that up. Well, that's a nice tight fit. See how square it is. Looks like it needs to go that way a little bit. But I could be wrong. 7 foot 3.5. 7 foot 3.5. Wow. A few more pieces of pipe on this. Alright, moment of truth, guys. I got a bit of concrete right here. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna chip that concrete out or just cut this notch out right here. Probably be easier and cleaner just to chip that concrete out. We'll do that in a minute. Let's see if this fits. Oh. Wiggle, wiggle. Look at that. So over here, that first wall with the single pipe, that's a laundry room, half bath. It's got a sink, a toilet, washer and dryer, hot water heater, and the power, or the fuse box, breaker box, whatever you want to call it. All that's in that first room right there. The next room up over there is the master bath. Shower, toilet, sink, big window. The laundry room's got a big window in it too. What I've got laid out on the ground here in the 2x6, the pieces, is all the countertop we have. That's one thing we wanted in our house, was to have a lot of countertop, a lot of space to cook and prepare meals. We didn't have a lot of countertop in the last place we lived in. It kind of bothered us. We didn't have a lot of space to make meals or prepare anything, or, you know, once you put a microwave and a coffee pot and a blender and something else on the counter, you had no more counter space. So we tried to make as much counter space as we could in this place. We've got the countertop over there, the countertop over there on the side next to that wall. We've got this big countertop here. You'll have a bar area on this side of it. You'll have the dishwasher in that corner on the other side, the kitchen sink in the middle on the other side, and the stove over here on the other side. So there's a space missing over there. There's no 2x6 pieces over there. That's where the refrigerator is going to sit. And then we'll have cabinets over toward the wall with countertop, and then we'll have cabinets above that on the wall. And then our master bedroom door is where that space is between the post and the end of that wall. So we've got our master bedroom back here. Not super big. I think it's 11 foot by 14 foot. But the only thing that's going to sit back here is our bed and a couple nightstands. So we've got our master closet over there, which is pretty big. It's big enough to have a dresser on one side and all hanging clothes on the other side, and plenty of room to walk in the middle of it. This is basically the halfway point right here, right where this wall is for the laundry room. The countertop passes a halfway point by about 10-12 inches, the way we have it set up right now. There is going to be a staircase over here. You're going to walk up onto a landing and then turn and walk up the rest of the way. But all this area over here is living room, dining room, whatever we want it for. There'll be a wood burning stove somewhere in that area. Haven't quite figured out exactly where yet, but it's coming together. I can get a visual on it. So my custom lumber's done. It's waiting for me to go pick it up. Get these walls built, and then I'll go get my lumber, put the center posts up to that main beam, and we get the second floor kind of going. But I got to get these walls done first, and I've got to count on how many 2x4s I'm going to need and 2x6 to finish. I've got plenty of 2x6, but I've got to go into town and get the 2x4s to finish off these inside walls. So the sun's starting to go down, and I want to get this video wrapped up. I still got to cut the cripples for these windows over here. There's 4 pieces of 2x6 I need to cut and nail into place. And then I've got to get the rest of that 2x6 off that trailer so I can go get my custom lumber. Until next time, guys, go make something.